All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. We've got some more safeties to take a look at here, more free safeties. Again, I want to stress that McDonald's defense much prefers to have their safeties be relatively ubiquitous, so the distinction between free and strong is kind of weak. But we've chopped things in half when evaluating these players, just so we have some kind of division. Reminder that I will be streaming tonight over on Bleacher Report. The link is over in the community tab. Just scroll down a little bit. We'll be talking about the Seahawks offseason. We'll be talking about what's coming up. So head on over there. Make sure you have the app. Make sure you have an account. And be ready for the show tonight. All right. So some other free safety options. We're down to the low-end starters now. This might have some applicability if you're looking for like a really, really good backup. Because right now, even though Rayshawn is on the team, we know that he will not be for much longer. So you need backup safeties in both spots, and one of those guys might need to be somebody that can play a lot if you're trying to go three safety. So these would be guys that you might pursue for that. People that you know have starter experience that can start and impact the game positively, but aren't going to cost an arm and a leg. Richie Grant, this is a tricky one. He just turned 27 in November, so he is in his prime, but he's also coming off 2 seasons that were relatively forgettable for the Falcons. Now he's off that rookie deal. His really good year was back in 2022, so we're a little bit removed from him having big impacts on games, and quite honestly, I know Atlanta signed Justin Simmons last offseason, but he barely played in 2024. He had one start, he had 14 tackles, played less than 10 snaps a game on average. Just not much to speak of for Richie Grant last year. And the year before, he played a lot, but it doesn't seem like he was all that effective to the point where he did lose his starting job in 2024. 2024, not that he played a lot, it was less than 10 snaps a game, like I said, but 37.7, that's right near the bottom of the barrel here. It's hard to get much worse than what Richie Grant scored with PFF in 2024. And the year before that was not good either. Coverage grade in particular was really bad, and he was ranked near the bottom of safeties, 51.5 on almost 1,000 snaps. That's a good sample size that tells you that he was really struggling, and there could be extenuating circumstances as to why that happened. In 2022, he was graded fairly well, and he was considered to be a young up-and-coming player, so it's not like there's no track record of good play here, but you have to go back a little further than you would like. And Spotrac thinks he's going to get a 3-year deal, which I could see because he's about to hit his physical prime, or he's just barely in his physical prime. But I don't know if I would do it when he hasn't played that well in a couple of years. I think the average annual salary is in the right realm, 5.3 million a year. I think that's probably pretty close to what we're talking about here. I think that's probably the right range, approximately speaking. I think that works. So I'd say they have the general right idea. I'm not convinced this guy's going to get a multi-year deal though, especially not 3 years. I could see a 1-and-1 maybe, but I don't think 3 years is realistically on the table here. Okay, so that's Richie Grant. Jordan Fuller would be the next guy to take a look at here. Super Bowl champion with the Rams, played out his rookie deal on the LA Rams, started a lot of games there, and then went to Carolina last year. Played half the season, tapped out, got hurt. So we don't know as much about this guy as we might like, but coming off a year where he only played 9 games, knowing that he also only played 3 games back in 2022, I think we have to exercise a lot of caution here, and I think that we have to say that he hasn't necessarily proven that he is that he's going to return to being an impact player the way that he was in some previous years. PFF thought pretty poorly of his 2024 when he did play, by the way, 53.8 snaps on 600, or 53.8 grade on about a little less than 600 snaps. Year before that was pretty good, right? On 1,000 snaps, or excuse me, yeah. The year before that, about 1,000 snaps, graded out pretty well. So there is a good track record here, but again, like with Richie Grant, you have to dig a little deeper than you would like to find it. right? It's not, oh, this guy was really good last year. There's every reason to believe he'll be good again this year. It's you're rolling the dice a little bit. And that dice roll, according to Spotrac, is about 5 million a year. They go 2 years, 10 million. 2 years, 10 million. Sure. I think that's probably about right. It's a 1-and-1, basically. You go, okay, if you're not good in 2025, it's going to be very easy to let you go in 2026. And if you're good, we can work on an extension, or we can let you play out the last year of your deal, and we're getting a good deal out of it. So this seems about right to me. And I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I think that would be less money, and it would probably be a little bit better than what we got out of Rayshon Jenkins. You've got yourself a third safety that you can feel pretty decent about. By the way, he's just about to turn 27, so you have the benefit of that as well. So, not a bad idea. I would not be against it. Next guy, Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods. This is a guy who's just leaving his prime. He's just about to hit the other side of 30. So we're not super pumped about that necessarily. But this guy has a track record of being a pretty good player. Spent the last few years with the Carolina Panthers. Played a lot of football. Started a lot of games. Started out with the Cowboys. Spent a year with the Vikings. He was good with the Vikings. And then he spent the last 3 years with the Panthers. He's been pretty good. He's only missed a handful of games. He's been pretty impactful. Generally speaking, his best skill is probably his availability. Ever since he started becoming a full-time starter in 2018, he's started at least 14 games in every season. That's 7 seasons in a row where he's barely missing any time. So that's always going to add a little bit of extra value, I think. Now, PFF didn't love his 2024. They thought he was a little below average, actually. It is a lot of snaps, though, man. 1,200 snaps. That's a lot of snaps. And it does kind of clue you into what problems you're going to have on that Panthers defense right now. You're just going to get no support from your offense. And the year before that, on about 800 snaps, the grade was sky high, over an 80. So that's really good. That's really encouraging. So there is some good stuff here with Xavier Woods. There is some reason to believe that he can be a very, very good player in this league still. And you're not going to have to break the bank to get him. In fact, Spotrac thinks he's just going to get a 1-year, $4.4 million deal. That could absolutely be just the kind of thing that McDonald wants to deal with the need at the third safety spot. This is a guy who you could play a significant amount of snaps a game and have trust and faith that he's going to be decent. And you're not going to break the bank to get him. You're going to get a cost-effective third safety that you can rely on. The only way you're going to get a better safety than this in the draft would be if you invest very highly in that safety. A first-round pick or second-round pick, and even then, it's not guaranteed. All right, so one more guy, one more low-end starter. And when I say low-end starter, especially on this team, I think you guys understand that I'm really talking about a third safety that plays part of the game, maybe half the game, but isn't really a full starter. Last guy's Damar Hamlin, the infamous Damar Hamlin. I think we all know who Damar Hamlin is and what his story is. Fascinating career so far. About to turn 27, so his best football should be in front of him. Was a almost full-time starter in 2022. Then he almost died, or he did die, I guess. Came back for a little bit of work in 2023. And then 2024, he was back to being a full-on starter, and he played okay. We're not overly over the top about any of this. He's not going to get some monster deal, but he can play. Pretty talented, pretty capable, and low-end starter is about right. PFF this last year gave him about slightly above average, 60.2 on 900 snaps. So he proved that he can play. He proves that he belongs in this league as something more than a special teamer. Now, the previous year, he basically did not play defensively. He played like less than 20 snaps. You go back to 2022 when he was starting, he gave you over 840 snaps, and again, it was slightly below average. So you're getting a capable but not necessarily good player here. If you have him in that third safety role where maybe he's only playing 550 to 600 snaps a season, that might work. That might get it done here. So Damar Hamlin certainly would be an interesting signing, and relatively cost effective. 2 years, 6.1 million, 3.1 million a year. That would save you a little bit of money over the other options we looked at in this video. It would work fairly well. I don't foresee that being any kind of an issue. And you can do the 1-and-1, where if he doesn't do well in 2025, it's probably very cheap to let him go in 2026. So those are the options as I see it. Those guys would all be viable and immediately provable, capable number 3 safeties, guys who can play a handful of snaps a game, maybe 25, 30 snaps a game, and could get the job done. And I'd be on board with pretty much any of this. I'm a little dicey on Richie Grant because Richie Grant hasn't been good in 2 years, hasn't made a big impact in 2 years. But the other 3 guys, I could see it. Just depends on who you think will fit the best. All right. So let me know what you think of this group. I will see you guys later today. Go Hawks. One more free safety video, and then we're doing the Bleacher Report stream. So keep an eye out for that. Everyone have a good rest of your day.